Good morning and welcome to Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network. Open Conversation is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actors to explore hope and engender positive impacts to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we'll look at the story ending over the weekend. First, Rivers crisis. Fubara invites assembly for meeting. Still on Rivers crisis, Fubara's commissioners sue state assembly. On National Assembly, don't politicize, trivialize due process in Senate, Saraki tells Ababio. On PDP crisis, again, National Working Committee postpones 99th NEC meeting. On party coalition, article confirms coalition to oust APC, denies defection. We are open for advertisements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. We're going on a short break. When we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go away. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is Chizi Esquire. Chizi Eni is President General Initiative for Transparent Strategy and Good Leadership. Good morning, Chizi, and welcome.
Good morning, Rivers people, and good morning, Nigeria.
I also have with me Honorable Kingsley Akumefule, a political analyst and a regular on Open Conversation. Good morning, Honorable Kingsley, and welcome.
Good morning, Nigeria.
And on to the story. Governor of Rivers State, Star Similaye Fubara, has invited the Rivers State House of Assembly, led by Martins Amehule, to a meeting. This follows the governor's receipt of the certified true copy of the Supreme Court judgment on the political unrest in the state. The governor made this invitation in a letter from the Office of the Secretary to the State Government, Dr. Tami Danagogo, addressed to Right Honorable Martins Amehule as Speaker of Rivers State House of Assembly. The letter noted that the governor has scheduled the meeting for Monday at 10 a.m. at the Government House, Port Harcourt, to address all the lingering issues in the state. Danagogo in the letter noted that they received the CTC of the Supreme Court judgment on Friday and wants the meeting to discuss the presentation of the 2025 state budget and payment of all lawmakers' allowances. The letter read, I hereby write in furtherance of His Excellency's promise stated in my letter dated 5th March 2025 to notify you that His Excellency has received the Supreme Court judgment and has therefore directed me to invite you and your colleagues, the honorable members of Rivers State House of Assembly, to a meeting to discuss provision of a befitting space for the Assembly sittings, payment of all outstanding remuneration or allowances of the honorable members, presentation of budget and sundry matters, any other matters as may be necessary to chart the way forward in the best interest of Rivers State. Sequel to the above, I hereby humbly invite the Right Honorable Speaker and all the Rivers State House of Assembly members to a meeting with the governor. Chizi, I'll start with you. What do you make of this development in Rivers State?
Yeah, you know, prior before now, the governor already said it, that upon receipt of the certified true copy of the Supreme Court judgment, he will implement it to the letter. And I think the governor have started. So there is nothing much to discuss on this issue. Because the governor is a man who will always keep to his word, and he has been keeping to his word. So he have started with it. And what matters most is Rivers State. What matters is not even the law. What matters is Rivers people, because
what
the law
matters is not even the law.
Yes, what matters most is not even the law. What matters is the people. We need peace in Rivers State. Hence, the peaceful approach is, I think, what every reasonable person would resort to. And the approach to it, not that it's not the law, but the governor has deemed necessary to come up with a peaceful resolution. Let's make peace, let's make amend while the governance continues. So, for me, the governor said there is nothing much to discuss. The governor have started implementing what he said. You know, prior before now, he has not recognized Martin Amehule because of what transpired. But now that the Supreme Court said no, they are authentic members of Rivers State House of Assembly. Hence, you must deal with them. So he have started. So, starting by way of making peace, I think is the best thing any normal human being will do. The governor is not the governor for himself. He is the governor for the people. And if there is no peace, my dear sister, I don't know which way forward. But making peace, making amend, taking decisions that he ordinarily wouldn't have taken if not for the judgment of the Supreme Court, should make every reasonable Nigerian know that the governor truly knows that he's not governor for himself, but that he's governing the people. Hence, he have taken this approach. For us who are on his side, we are not part of that. It's not the best way. It is the best way, and we also think that if we follow this way, we will arrive at a just conclusion. Even Bible said, follow peace with all men. So the governor has commenced with peaceful approach.
All right.
We commend him for that.
But you said one statement. You made a statement that stood out for me, and I had to repeat it when you said it. When you said that what matters is not even the law, but the people of Rivers State. The people are people governed by the law.
Yes.
River State is a state created by the law. Everything around River State exists as a function of the law. The governor is a governor because of the law that gave him powers to be the executive governor of River State. So can he govern without the law? So when you say what matters, it's not the law, but the people of River State. One would say, is it not this statement that gave rise to this crisis in the first instance?
Not at all.
When parties say the law is not important at this point, it is the people. I'm trying to even remove the people from this whole thing, because if the parties involved, I mean all the players in this crisis, obeyed the law in the first instance, we will not be where we are at this point in River State. Don't you agree, Chizzy?
Okay, see, what I mean by Rivers people matters and not the law is that the law is aberration. It's not against the law. Now we can come by way of implementing everything that is the law, but there is no good guiding. It will make nonsense of the whole thing. In fact, the governance and the approach will not be stable and steady. So the governor charting the way caused by first making peace. That trying to make peace does not mean it is an aberration to the law. But if I am the governor, I will implement the law and I will not make peace.
You implement the law and not make peace?
I will not make peace. Yes, implementing the law does not make you making peace. I may be quarreling with you while we are in the same office working. But the working relationship, if it is not in good tidings and there will be no trust in each of us, forget the implementation of the law.
So you think this move by the governor is to make peace?
It's even beyond what we expect.
Not necessarily implementing the law.
No, I said no.
You feel this move is more conciliatory?
More
in nature.
That's what I'm saying, yes.
Right.
And it is not also against the law. That's what I want you to understand. For the governor, this move is for him or for everybody to know that he have an open heart to
But this move actually, while it's not against the law, it is also not entrenched in the law, like in the sense that the assembly can choose to decline this invitation. They can choose to decline attending to this meeting, correct?
No, if they choose to decline attending to the meeting, to the invitation, that is their discretion. They can choose to, and it is not the law that the governor must
invite them. I wanted to establish that.
However, if you have your people at heart and you want peace in a state like Rivers State, why will you reject the reconciliatory move? Why won't you accept a peaceful move?
Okay, we'll look at the undertone surrounding this meeting and things have played out prior to this invitation.
There is nothing more than what the governor has said. He has stated the essence of his inviting.
It's all right, Chizzy. We'll delve further into this. I like to excavate issues, right? But
the judgment of the Supreme Court has offered them. Why do I say this? You remember before now, there are a lot of things the governor have said against these assembly people. He said the laws, he called them small boys, people like dash money. I pay their children's school fees. People that do this. It is only me that will decide if they will stay or not. In fact, as it is today, they are gone. A lot of statements he made like that. And now the judgment has come in favor of the same people you made such derogatory statements on. I had thought that governor would have listened to the voice of wisdom and perhaps sit back to have a lot of thinkings. Perhaps those thoughts would have made him behave rightly and do the things that were right. That would have somehow, softened the hearts of these persons. Rather than doing that, first, when the Supreme Court decided that he was the governor of Rivers State, nobody waited to make him the governor. A lot of judgments that had come, even apart from him, different persons. The moment Supreme Court gives a judgment, my learned friend is a lawyer. You understand that is arbiter of the court. And when he gives a judgment, that judgment stands. So, the moment that happened, I had thought that the governor would have immediately swung into action. Rather, he surreptitiously, perhaps thinking that a lot of things would have been changed when the CTC would have come, he declined taking decisions of what the Supreme Court has said. That apart. Now, when he has received the certified true copy and he decided to do what he thinks in his own eyes were right, he wrote the assembly through the Secretary of Government. There are three tiers of government: the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. And when the governor wants to write to the judiciary, he will not write to the Secretary of Government. Especially when he wants to write to the Chief Judge of the state, he will write and sign it, append the signature. When the governor wants to write to the Speaker of the Assembly, which is the leader, the head of another arm of the government, he is supposed to append his signature, write directly by himself. Instead of doing that, because my people say when you are trying to cure the eyes, you don't need to pour pepper again into the eyes. He wrote through the Secretary of Government on one hand. On the other hand, if you read that letter, the letter dated 7th of March, which was on Friday, and rather than passing through the normal process, assuming without conceding that we even agree that the letter had been written, and so we should allow it, even if it wasn't coming from the right source. That letter was sent to the social media on Sunday, the 9th of March. Does that mean that there were no...
Who sent it to the social media on Sunday?
The state government. This letter had not reached the state assembly. None of the members of the assembly had received of that letter, not even the speaker. And the letter didn't pass anywhere other than the social media that we are reading that letter on the 9th, which was yesterday on Sunday. But the letter was dated 7th of March. Again, the meeting was scheduled for 10th, which is today, by 10 a.m. On the same 10th, 10 a.m., the governor will be at Obiakpo, commissioning the house of a traditional ruler that he built. The same time, the same day. So when you look at this same gimmick, the whole scenario, you notice that the man is not true to himself. He's not even ready for peace. My friend was talking about the peace, what's it called? The law doesn't matter. And I thank God you tried to correct that impression. If you disobey the law, it means that the people that you are talking about won't even live. Disobedience to the law is a call for anarchy. And when that call for anarchy comes, the people you say are more important will not live. And so why would you even disobey the law like the government is surreptitiously doing as it is today? We want peace because every Rivers man needs peace. If we have peace in Rivers State, there will be development, there will be progress. But when the government is playing semantics against bringing or looking for peace in the state, I think it is wrong. He is the one who should need the peace now because the judgment is in the favor of those he called names, those he kept for over 1 year without salary, those he demolished their sitting, this thing and all that with impunity. And the law had come that he should sit down and look for real ways of getting peace. He's still not ready, perhaps because of the kind of counsels like my brother Chief just gave now, and Chief just gave now. These counsels, I think, are the things that are troubling the governor. And until and unless he takes the right advice, which ultimately will lead him to the right decisions, we may not have the peace that we are all looking for. I am very confident that this assembly, ably led by Martin Semeglu, are very, very peaceful people. Very peaceful in the sense that their programs for the past 1 year that have been thrown away, abandoned, and even aspersions casted on them and all that, had even written to the governor on assumption of office, which the Supreme Court had given them the mandate. And the governor, rather than doing that, is doing the things are not right. For me, as a person, I think the governor needs to actually sit down to think twice about the things he's doing, because I need peace. My friend needs peace. Everybody needs peace, because it is that peace that will bring about the progress and development we all need in this state.
All right. First of all, when you were talking about, you were questioning the sincerity of purpose, right, of the governor via the letter he wrote inviting the assembly to this meeting. You said that the governor had scheduled another event for the same day and time, you know, that he gave the lawmakers. The governor himself doesn't need to be present in that event, correct? A representative can go there on his behalf.
See, when the governor wants to make peace should be seen to be open. You see, people have perceptions. Everybody's perception is different. You can have the perception that the governor may not be there. I've been wounded over time. Looking at that schedule for the inauguration of that building, we see it like the governor is not sincere. Taking to the fact that he has already proven from all he's been doing from the day the judgment had come that he's not sincere. He's not. If he was sincere, commissioners who were not officially screened. I see, the truth that's what I'm saying. If you put all these things cumulatively, you see a lot of things that are proven that the governor is not sincere at all. And we want him to be sincere. He's the governor of Rivers State. He should be sincere when it comes to making peace. Because if there is no peace here, he will first be the victim. So we need peace. He should be the one to pilot this peace that we need in Rivers State. With all he's doing, I think he's not sincere. My friend Chizzy knows he's not sincere.
All right. Now, talking about Chizzy, when you were speaking earlier, you talked about you said that the governor waited to receive the CTC of that judgment, and that was the right thing to do in face of the nature of crisis that we have in Rivers State. But then one would say, was the implementation not selective on the part of the governor, in the sense that you recall that in the wake of the Supreme Court judgment, the governor did give a state broadcast, and in that broadcast he told Rivers people that he will wait, that he's a peace-loving man and will wait for the CTC copy, and then study the implications of the judgment and await his legal team their advice, but that he's assuring Rivers people that he was going to fully implement that. That was what he said in the state broadcast. Then in the same breath, in the same state broadcast, went ahead to implement a part of Supreme Court judgment without seeing the CTC copy of that Supreme Court judgment. And that is directing the local government chairman to hand over to heads of local government administration. And then also saying that, also in that statement, also directed for RISEC to plan local government elections. Now, these things were done in one statement. One statement in this broadcast, if I may, in the same broadcast, saying he's going to wait for CTC to implement Supreme Court judgment. In the same broadcast, without receiving CTC copy, went ahead to implement a part of that Supreme Court judgment. What do you make of that?
Well, it's like I'm being confused over the reason for being here.
How do you mean?
Yes, it's like we are not discussing for the way forward. We are chatting.
In discussing the way forward, now you said you are, hold on, you said you are on the side of the governor. Apparently, from what Honorable Kings Akumefle is saying, Akumefle appears to be towing a different perspective from you. And they are saying the governor's position is not sincere. You are saying the governor's position is conciliatory. Now, he has raised certain points that can be swept under the carpet. When Kingsley Akumefle was speaking, he raised the question of the CTC copy and the governor moving ahead without it. And he said that in other cases where judgments have been made, nobody waited for CTC copy. I can cite the case of Celestine Ome here. I can cite the state of the governor in Bayelsa State that was removed by Supreme Court a day to his inauguration. I can go ahead to cite a lot of, even the governor has implemented without CTC. But the major issue is the fact that Rivers people, local government workers, Rivers civil servants will not receive salaries moving forward until this crisis is sorted out. Now, in face of this exigency, and governor implements one side, and the other side is not yet implemented, and his excuse is that he's waiting for CTC copy. And we are talking about Rivers people moving forward, like you have said. A part of Rivers people are feeling the governor is not sincere. You have to address that. We cannot gloss over issues and say it's all good. These are issues, like I said, we are going to excavate and talk about way forward. Don't you agree?
Why I asked that question, when you appear in public like this and you're making statements of facts, you don't need to be pandering and rush out.
Right.
Like my friend is talking, he said the government is not sincere, and for him the invitation is a no thing, but that they want peace. And he has even refused to tell you ways to which you can arrive at it. That's why I asked this question.
Okay.
In all he has said, to me, he has said nothing that the people can
hold on to
say this is the way forward. In all the things he has said, even you here cannot even reduce to one fact that with this thing he has said, if the governor do this way, and if the question so far asked, what were the things said by the Supreme Court that have not been implemented by the governor? How has it been partly performed? The generality of the thing concerning local government is that local government is hereby the election that brought local government chairmen are invalidated. So even without the certified true copy, you would know that truly this is the position. Now, Martin Amigule and others are duly elected members of the United Assembly. Since then till today, has governor make any statement in opposition to that? So how come he has partly implemented the judgment that he had not done for that? I want to know.
My question was hold on, you have your second. Okay, you're asking a question I have asked you already. Okay, it's rhetorical. Go ahead.
You people are saying that he has partly implemented, he has partly not implemented. Will he implement all one day? What is even the judgment of the Supreme Court? That Martin Amigule and others are duly elected members of the United Assembly, and Martin is the speaker. Has he not recognized Martin? Has he done anything with the Okojumbo-led assembly that you say he partly implemented? So you see, when people talk, they should talk with facts, and not because you are in opposition, you should be saying things that are not right. The governor said for local government administration, in as much as there are no elected officers, and the Supreme Court has invalidated the election, hence the heads of local government should take over.
The governor see the CTC copy before making that directive.
Does the governor need to see the CTC
Why
copy?
does he need to see the CTC copy in other issues?
And like in which issue? I want to know why.
Hold on.
Yes.
I am telling you what the governor, and I'm sure, hold on, Chizzy. I'm sure you listened to that state broadcast, yes. And the governor said that he will implement Supreme Court judgments. Hold on. He will implement Supreme Court judgments when he has received the CTC copy, and he, with his legal team, studied the implications of the judgment of the Supreme Court and is advised adequately by his legal team. Yeah. That was what he said in that state broadcast. Yeah. That statement means implementation is paused until CTC copy is received, and I study the CTC copy and I'm advised accordingly. Then I assure Rivers people, the moment I am advised and I see the CTC copy, I'm going to implement. However, in the same broadcast, he implemented with immediate effect another got the same judgment, a part of, because it was a consolidated judgment. The issue pertaining to local government chairman and local government elections was implemented there and then in state broadcast. In fact, the governor even said by Monday that the council chairman should hand over to the head of local government elections. And that the same week, that being last week, RISEC announced a date. These things were implemented without CTC copy being cited by the governor. And then the one that is the one would say the heavy one that directly, because I am going by your statement, you said this has to do with Rivers people. Now the ones that affects Rivers people so serious, and the workers in Rivers State, being the budget presentation, the governor is saying he has to wait to see the CTC copy. Issues around the legislature has to see the CTC copy. He has to see the CTC copy. Recall that this judgment is consolidated. One dealt with the legislative arm of government, and the other dealt with the local government councils. So, I think this is direct enough for you to answer at this point.
You see, it's like it's like you have refused to understand me. I just asked a very simple question. You have not even said anything about. Which part of the judgment that has not been implemented?
All right, Akumefle, you said I did not answer you. I have given you, I asked you a clear question, and I also gave you a clear explanation as well.
The judgment, the governor said, I will implement the judgment of the Supreme Court when I see the judgment copy, the certified true copy. And the governor started by way of, in as much as there is a decision that the local government election is invalidated, hand over to HLGA. Now again, the governor said, I will implement. I want to know the part he has not implemented. You're talking about issue of budget. I'm coming. You're bringing issue of budget. The issue of budget, can the governor just wake up and send the budget today upon hearing that Supreme Court gave judgment yesterday? Is there nothing?
Why would you, I can tell you what the governor did. When you say that, then
yes,
is it that you don't understand the sequence that this crisis happened?
No,
I recall that the budget, the 2025 budget, actually was presented to the Okojombo forum a day after appeal court judgment. So when you're saying this, that makes me wonder, Chizzy, are you in line with how things have happened and the sequence River State crisis has happened? 2025 budget was presented to Okojombo fora in this instance because Supreme Court has disqualified Okojombo from being the speaker. So I'll call them Forum of Friends. 2025 budget was presented to Okojombo Forum of Friends a day after appeal court judgment. And you're saying, can the governor present a budget just after Supreme Court judgment? The governor did that in the case of the appeal court, Mr. Chizzy. But then you have asked the question that Akumefle wants to answer. So I'll have Akumefle will speak before I get back to you. Akumefle, you may go ahead.
Thank you, Laurentia. You know, when my friend is trying to play to legality, I feel very pained because I know him as a very intelligent young man. Perhaps, like I used to say here each time I come, that politics is political. He may probably play in politics with the things he's saying. When the Supreme Court had given a judgment, he knows as a lawyer, I am not a lawyer, I am only a social scientist, you know, he knows that at the point that judgment had come, everybody who were parties to that judgment were supposed to pay that judgment to the letter. Now, the Supreme Court has said that Martins and Mewule and the 26 others were the authentic members of the assembly. And it therefore means that every decision they have made from the day the governor stopped recognizing them till the day that judgment was made were authentic. And you remember that within this time in view, they had made a lot of laws, which includes the Local Government Service Commission, the Bureau of Public Procurement, the Assembly Service Commission, and so many others. They have also said that every other thing that Okojombo and his friends did were invalid, which is also to mean that the members they screened and confirmed as commissioners and every other commission or every other agency that they screened and accepted were all illegal. Now, one would have expected the governor at the moment that judgment was given to pronounce the dissolution of those commissioners because they are illegal. One would have expected the governor to pronounce the dissolution of members of the Local Government Service Commission, Service Commission, and every other appointment he had made in defiance of the law. He should have started from there. That's on one hand. On the second hand, the major issue that the judgment was the issue of budget. Now, when the appeal court gave a judgment, immediately he said that those guys are playing, they don't even know what they are doing, they don't even understand what we are doing. I am going to present my 2025 budget. Not up to 24 hours, he presented a budget of 2025 to the three members of Okojombo and Friends. Now, the Supreme Court said, represent. You don't say go and reconfigure or rewrite or say represent. It would have been that budget that he presented to the Okojumbo and his friends. What were you waiting to represent? And they said they gave you 48 hours to represent. You didn't even handle that matter as it were, assuming that you are not even ready to represent the budget within 24 hours or 48 hours as it were. You should have made a statement that would have looked like local government election. How are these funds gotten? And these were the things the assembly people are saying. Independent legal come and tell us how you got the money that used to conduct the illegal elections and how you would want to get the money to conduct the one you said you want to conduct. Rather than listening to this young man, he has to go to court and all that. And you think we are fools as Rivers people? You are saying here that the government is right in what it's doing? No, we don't. I don't believe so. I don't believe so. All I think, like I said here before, that Rivers State needs peace, and the only way to get that peace is for the governor to be so clear enough on what he's doing and be very open to the judgment if he's ready. That's the only time we'll get peace. But with this kind of movements he's making, I don't see peace in view. And we pray we get to the point where there might be an issue.
Now, if I may ask at this point, what is the way forward?
The way forward is to be sincere with all you're doing. The sincerity of purpose, first and foremost. The assembly has invited you. Is the governor above the assembly? He's not. The assembly, the democracy is anchored on the legislature. And the legislature are inviting you to come and brief us what you've done with the assembly and perhaps present the new budget as directed by the Supreme Court. Rather than doing that, you are inviting them so that you show them house where they will stay. You show them office, the one you demolished, with all intent and purpose and all that. He's not sincere in what he's doing. The governor should first and foremost go and listen to the assembly. They invited him. He should do that. And perhaps look for a way to see how you can buy their conscience. You have a fight with somebody over time for 1 full year. You've done everything you have planned to do to that person. Is it not the same governor who said if any person carries a gun and drags the trigger and the gun refuses to shoot, that if you see enemies to kill the person, you should kill the person? Is it not the governor who made that statement? Is there any other thing that is not up to the same statement he made that he has made on this man? Keeping people who won election without salary, without allowances, without nothing for 1 full year, calling them names, calling them beggars, calling them everything. He has even drawn the daggers on them. And now the Supreme Court has restored their dignity, restored their position. What he should have done, he should have been beggarly. He should be the one to look for peace, not these other people. So I think that he should be sincere in the process of looking for peace. Go and see how you win their interest, win their conscience. And one of the ways to doing that is to go to the assembly as they have invited you. The moment you go there, the world will see that yes, the governor is even sincere. They invited him and they are gone. It is from there every other thing can start. The peace we are looking for, that is where it should start. And rather than doing that, you are telling them to come to them and writing them through the secretary of the government. Who does that? We are all learned. I have a PhD in organizational behavior. We understand all these things. I mustn't be a lawyer like he is before I understand. I read the law too.
All right, very well. Chizzy, when Honorable Kingsley was speaking, you were smiling. I need to know why. And then, moving forward at this point, what is the way out of this whole situation?
You see, that's why I said when you're talking with facts, there is no need pandering and racial prejudice. You know, looking about what Supreme Court said, what Supreme Court didn't say, just like he said, he's not a lawyer, so I wouldn't delve into what Supreme Court said and what Supreme Court did not say more.
Well, I am well aware of what Supreme Court said.
He was saying Supreme Court said, go and present budget, so you need to bring the one you presented earlier to send again. I don't know which government has worked in that form. He says Supreme Court said all the things Martin Amehule did were right. Therefore, the bills then passed that they override the government, which are now
he didn't say that.
Still,
he didn't say that. You misquoted him.
I'm telling you what. No, don't say he did not.
What he said. Hold on. Well, I am seated here. You know that. What he said is that Supreme Court has upheld Martin Amehule as Speaker of Rivers State House of Assembly, and by the implication of that, what it means that all the laws that were passed by Martin Amehule that the government refused to assent to, and they passed into law, that they are valid. That is what he said.
Will you allow me, because it's I'm coming. I hear him more than you because I was more interested. He cannot even dispute the fact that he did not say that Supreme Court said all the laws passed by Martin Amehule. He was very emphatic in what Supreme Court said, not by implication. So allow me flow.
Go ahead.
Why I was laughing is that when making all these statements, he refused to understand the fact that persons went to court to challenge the law, and the court set them aside and invalidated. So I don't even, he should be factual in some of these things when saying those laws made as they override the governor, ordinarily they became functional. And some persons went to court to challenge the laws, and those laws are dead and buried. You can't even resurrect it as at now. So maybe these are things confusing some of them, believing that Martin Amehule and others made some laws, and therefore
dead and buried.
They are long dead and buried because the court said those laws are not.
That's State High Court, yes?
Yes.
Okay, and one of those laws was extension of tenure of local government.
Yes.
Are you aware that in the Supreme Court judgment with regards to local government autonomy, that Supreme Court in that judgment, page 16 of that judgment, said that National Assembly has the power to extend the tenure of the president for 6 months when it becomes impracticable to hold elections. And in the same vein, that state houses of assembly have the power to extend tenures of local government chairmen for not more than 6 months when it becomes impracticable or impossible to hold elections. And the Supreme Court went ahead to say that the extension of the tenure of this chairman is the extension of the mandate of their people, and the illegal truncation of this tenure as is rife. I'm quoting the Supreme Court judgment. As is rife now in the states, it's ending illegally the mandate of the people that elected them. So will you say that the judgment of a high court, a state high court, is superior? And then recall that this judgment came after the state high court gave that judgment. The Supreme Court judgment came much, much, much later.
You see,
now the question would be, to a large extent, the question would be, has that judgment been challenged? If it is not challenged, does it hold water?
Let me tell you.
Go ahead, Chizzy.
See, let me tell you. That's why I said I don't want to delve into. You think that everything you read.
These are the issues.
I'm coming. No, I'm coming. Yes, everything you read in a judgment is not part of the judgment. Judges made comments. We say it's so bitter. Those things are by the way comments. And let me even tell you, go and read the Constitution to know the situation where elections are impracticable. It's only on one condition: where there is war, where there is expectation of war, where there is war, and it's impracticable to conduct election. Then the tenure of the president can be extended. So that is what we are talking about. So don't because this by way for bitter made that statement, bring it into the ratio decidendi as the reason for their decision.
Has National Assembly ever extended the president by 6 months?
No.
Are you sure?
I'm coming. No, because there has been. No, I'm coming.
Go ahead.
No. If they extended it during the military time also,
I mean civilian.
the civilian
democracy. Has National Assembly in Nigeria ever extended the tenure of a sitting president?
That is beyond my knowledge.
It's beyond your knowledge.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I'm coming. Even though they extend it, even unless nobody challenges it, the reason is that the only ground the Constitution says is where there is outbreak of war. And there was no war in Rivers State. There is also currently no war. And the election there was conducted. So if you are saying these things and then the law here as we are operating, in fact, there can be no extension because the laws made then by Martins and Migle and all those laws they made then, the court has voided it as we speak. So we shouldn't even refer to it. We shouldn't give reference to it. If you want to give reference to it, go and challenge it. The Supreme Court cannot in one decision make up not to say anything further. Just like you're saying this one, the same thing again is everything done by this person is invalid because of the obiter made by the Supreme Court. Look at the reason for decision and not the obiter, for Christ's sake. So we shouldn't, because they are reading from the first paragraph to the last paragraph and you think it's the law. No, that's not the way judgment have been read. That's not the way judgment have been interpreted. So for the way forward here in Rivers State, we must look at those things that are viable, those things that the governor will do. And you can't tell me that you will start by way of saying the governor go and represent the budget. That's what Supreme Court said. You must go and represent budget. And the judgment was on Friday. And on Monday, the governor was given 48 hours ultimatum to represent budget. I think this is the first governor who was given 48 hours ultimatum in the history of Nigerian democracy to either present or represent budget. But in as much as, let me even tell you one thing.
Go ahead.
To Martin Amehule and others, the government is not representing budget because it is. That's why he should also be factual.
Go ahead.
Presumably, it is presumed that the government has not presented budget. Representation is when you have done something before and you are doing it again. By the interpretation of the Supreme Court judgment, he has not presented. So why are you talking of representation? And if you're also saying this way, why has the Martins Amehule and others stopped about talking of the 2024 budget? And are saying the governor should come and represent or present 2025 budget. So allow the governor, referencing the fact that the governor presented budget to Okojombo-led then House of Assembly a day after Supreme Court judgment, when there were heat up of crisis, and now there is no longer heat up of crisis, and the governor deemed it necessary to do whatever he's doing when he have had good working relationship. What is even wrong with having good working relationship? If you're saying that the governor said certain made certain derogatory statement against the Martins led assembly, even after the Supreme Court judgment, have you not heard what Martins said against the governor? Have we have recourse to that? Should we even refer to that? Should we make reference to that? You should even be happy that you have a governor who told you or who said, I will do this. And after days later, he started by way of, come, let's talk and dialogue, and then we commence doing what is necessary. What is wrong with that? The governor can go and represent budget or can go and present budget. If you like, hold it there for 1 year. Everybody will be casualty of the same circumstance. J.P. Clark said we are all casualties. At this point in time, we are all casualties. So don't take whether you're supporting the governor, you're supporting the assembly, you're not supporting the assembly. Rivers first. It's rivers that matters. So all of us will suffer the fate. There is nothing like you're here, you're not here. All of us are prisoners in this circumstance. Hence, whether you like it or not, okay, well, imagine saying that the governor has a program today. That would be an issue. That the governor has a program today, so there is no sincerity of purpose inviting people to a meeting. Do you think that the only meeting the governor will have today, or the only program the governor will have today, is meeting with the assembly and commissioning of the Akpo Monarch's house? It's not correct. The governor has other programs. So have you attended the function? Have you attended the invitation that you're saying there is no sincerity of purpose? On what ground? Do you even need to tell the governor where to start? What you know is that have the governor started somewhere? Yes, let's go from there and make peace.
All right. I want to hold on, Honorable Kingsley. Okay, so this orbiter thing has been flying up and down for a while, particularly since the Supreme Court gave judgment. I keep hearing from different quarters that the Supreme Court judgment, that some of the things that the Supreme Court said in their judgment is an obiter. Now, to a large extent, I will remind you, or I'll bring to our memory the statement by Justice Bassam. before Justice Bassam recused himself in this matter of River State crisis, the matter was brought to him, before him in the River State High Court. And Justice Bassam recused himself from handling that matter, and he cited jurisdiction, that the River State High Court does not have jurisdiction to entertain that matter. However, he gave an obiter, because that's what I remember an obiter is, particularly in this instance. He gave an obiter, and that was his opinion when he was giving judgment. And he said that a televised defection does not translate to constitutional defection. He said a lot of things around that defection. That matter was presented to him, and then gave his judgment and recused himself. And I recall that a lot of persons, particularly on the side of the 27 lawmakers, we are rejoicing that, Justice Bassam has said something, Justice Bassam has spoken. And when I started reading and studying more, I now found out that that was an obiter, actually, and not a judgment, and therefore not binding. But in the Supreme Court, judgments, I think it's something page judgments that I have carefully sat down and I read from page to page. It becomes worrisome when Supreme Court in their judgment and giving their, I think they call it ratio decidendi, is suddenly turned into an obiter. Shouldn't that be concerning? Because everything that was said, to a large extent, they gave reasons why judgment was given, and they addressed every single matter that was consolidated and presented before them. How then is part of Supreme Court judgment cheesy? How then is part of Supreme Court judgment now not ratio decidendi, but it is now an obiter? Please, I want to understand law 101, at least a few minutes. Just educate me a little bit.
You know, the essence of being here today is to discuss partly on the way forward and the issue as to regularize the
issues, yeah, the lawmakers.
And you have just asked this question. Is this question part of why we
it is very, very related. I can explain why.
I want to. You said I should say
the
something.
issue surrounding. Hold on.
Allow me
the
to
invitation.
Allow me to.
Are you asking me a question, or you are making a rhetorical statement?
No, I want to lead you to why there must be obiter in everything.
Okay.
This one you have asked.
Go ahead.
The question now comes as obiter. We are discussing and you ask this question.
Okay.
And I am direct or telling you this is and that is that. So which is not part of why we are here. So there is no way human being will make a statement that there won't be obiter in course of writing judgment. For Christ's sake, you are not God. Even the Supreme Court are not, the Supreme Court justices are not God. So you mean in the 66 pages of Supreme Court judgment? No, no.
So now in this instance, the lawyers will now bring out the one that will be obiter and the one they will consider ratio decidency, and whatever they tell us in this instance, we will take it.
No, not correct. To deceive the people. I don't want to. I cannot discuss Martin Amibule and others, assuming it is even part of what you told me will be discussed. I'm coming. I don't want to discuss those who. And you call it, let me rightly agree with Bassam that it was a televised defection, and you call us to deceive us that you have defected from one party to the other. You're televising it. And we should entrust you into leadership position again. And you think we should discuss it in the public. God forbid.
Chizzy, you know why I keep calling you? There is this saying in Igbo language that when you're pointing at someone with one finger, the four is pointing back at you. Right. Now, you have made your statement, very strong statements against the lawmakers.
It's not against them. I hold on to the view of Bassam that it was a televised defection.
You have made very strong statements that they are dishonorable, they are
for the civil Rivers people, they are dishonorable.
Are you aware that in the grand scheme of things, the court has used very strong language on the governor that you are now defending as against the lawmakers, and that the governor has worked all through against the constitution and the law, starting from saying a televised statement where he said, I choose to recognize them, they cease to exist. And you also said the law is different, the law is not important now, it's the Rivers people. When you say these things and you are a lawyer, and on one hand you are in this other arm of
I said I don't want to discuss them.
Yeah, hold on. But, yeah, I understand the emotions around it. Yeah. But it's also very important that, we are circumspect, particularly with the languages we use, because if we had to go deep into this thing, the lawmakers on one hand have a part to play. The governor on the other hand has played greater roles. Even though he's laying hand that there was a catalyst, that catalyst was the lawmakers. But then, he has been running on a lot of constitutional infractions, and you cannot defend, you cannot call one dishonorable and label one a saint when that one that you're labeling a saint by the courts has not been labeled saint. And
did you see so my sister, it's like you didn't read much of what is. See, if you read much of the content of that that judgment, you see where the Supreme Court said that there is no evidence before them that Martin and Mabel are not that defected. Said there is no evidence before them, and also don't rule out the fact that governor and others did not go to court. So if I don't also refer to much of the Supreme Court judgment that they did not defect. The Supreme Court said there is no evidence before us. In as much as there is also no such evidence, going to court on that defense will not hold water. There was no evidence before the Supreme Court. That is it.
The point I'm trying, I think I have made my point clear enough, and I know you understand fully well what I'm saying, Chief. You're very smart, and I know you understand.
No, I do understand what you're saying, but relying on even they refuse to condemn the obiter made by Justice Bassam that it was a televised defection, which means morally to us that voted them, they have done bad to us. We that voted them.
All right, Chizzy, we are not discussing the defection.
No,
right
God for and I can't also defect it. I can't also defect it. Let me even give you one information. Still on this defection issue, I'm sure my friend can even attest to that. This morning, I've served the governor with a letter. Though the letter is pre-action notice, mandating the governor to prosecute them, to order the Attorney General or whomever to prosecute them. If within 7 days, if the governor refuses, I will go to court to seek for an order of mandamus.
They prosecute the law.
Yes, for lying on oath.
For perjury.
Yes, for lying on oath. So in as much as they say they defected, and now in another way they say they did not defect. So, in fact, I don't want to discuss them again.
It's okay. You see
history will repeat. My father will always say that history will repeat itself.
Right.
Let history repeat Martin Amihule and others. Thank you.
Now, Honorable Akmefle,
Yes.
you have something to say.
Yes. Well, not much though, because
ahead.
like I have always said, whatever you say, wherever you are, and you say something, it's your personal position on those matters. But for my friend Chizzy, being who he is as a legal luminary, to come to the fore, especially on this kind of national television, to cast aspersions and speak in such ill manner against responsible men, especially the speaker and other members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. For me, it's not acceptable. I cannot also sit here to cast aspersions on him because I respect him. He's been my very good friend, or say anything or otherwise. But I want to caution him to try to learn how to speak in the public, and especially when you talk about people who occupy such kind of positions. You are respecting the government.
He's saying that the action was dishonorable.
Yes.
And it is one thing to what do you call dishonorable when you say one thing and you do the other?
We play politics. We are
regardless of whether it's
hold on, let me
or
tell you.
not.
Okay, the governor of the state who went
to
demolish an assembly that had nothing, just because he had a problem with 27 members of assembly, demolish a building owned by the state, built by the resources of the state, a building that has no problem, just because of that infraction that he had with those persons, is honorable. A governor who will stand on the national television and call a man who gave him power, assuming without conscience, there is a devil, he decided, I'm very happy to eat with the devil. Devil gave him food. He took a food from the devil, took that food and called him Nebuchadnezzar. He sat in the public, called these members of House of Assembly beggars. They came to his house to beg him food and school fees and all that. For that, he has thrown them away. Even when the law has said they are members of the assembly, he said he will not recognize them. I cannot recognize them. From today, I cease to recognize them. I choose who to get. He's honorable. A lot of things the governor have done, even as an executive governor of a state, that even amounts to like one who is even sitting in the bus or at the park. Yet, he's seated as a governor of a state. Yet, my friend is sitting here to call him honorable. And those who play politics, to the extent that politics they play, even removing the governor as we speak today, he didn't know that was politics they played on him. Even to the extent that the highest court of Nigeria said there was nothing like defection. And you as a lawyer, you are sitting here to say what they did was defection and they played on your intelligence. They are dishonorable. Let it be to you, and let God also judge you.
I think that's an extreme statement.
No, he says so.
Let history remember all of us. Let history remember all of us.
Now, gentlemen,
let history remember all of us.
Chizzy.
I like the statement. Let history remember all of us.
Chizzy, hold on. One thing is very pivotal, or one thing is clear in this conversation. You represent Chizzy. Are you paying attention, Chizzy?
Yes.
You represent a part of Rivers people, and you speak for a part of Rivers people who has sentiments for the governor. Honorable Kingsley Akmefle apparently now is representing a part of Rivers people, a section of Rivers people who have sentiments for the lawmakers. And it appears that even though the Supreme Court judgment expectedly should have brought some level of sanity to Rivers crisis, it appears that it might have opened another can of worms all over again, because now tensions are running high yet again, and this is just a show because we are now delving deep into the thing. But I believe that for wounds to heal, it has to be treated. We have to find the cause and then treat it. But I have asked what's the way forward. I have asked Honorable Kingsley what's the way forward. In everything that has been said, I have not actually heard one solid thing on the way forward. No, and the interesting thing about this now is that moving forward in Rivers State, the commissioners have decided to take the lawmakers to court. And I want us to look into that briefly before we round up the show. Legal battle surrounding the Rivers State government appears to be far from over, as two states commissioners whose appointments were approved by 4 lawmakers loyal to Governor Siminalayi Fubara have filed for a lawsuit. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue. Do not go away. End the show. We can't do that now. Don't worry. Let's end so that you can do what you need to do. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Legal battle surrounding the River State government appears to be far from over, as 2 state commissioners whose appointments were approved by 4 lawmakers loyal to Governor Siminalayi Fubara have filed a lawsuit against the River State House of Assembly. The commissioners are seeking an interlocutory injunction to prevent Speaker Martin Amehule and 26 lawmakers from enforcing resolutions passed on March 5, 2025, which declared their appointments null and void. They are asking the court to restrain the assembly from nullifying their appointments and to issue an order barring the legislature from interfering in their duties as members of the State Executive Council. Meanwhile, the chairman of the River State Independent Electoral Commission, retired Justice Adolphus Enebeli, and his commissioners have also challenged the assembly's authority to summon them for questioning. The Assembly had initially issued a 48-hour ultimatum for Enebeli to appear and explain the circumstances surrounding the nullified October 5, 2024 local government elections. When he failed to do so, the deadline was extended by 72 hours. In their suit, Enebeli and his team are asking the court to restrain the Assembly from compelling their appearance, arguing that such a move would be unlawful. Justice Frank Onyiri, presiding over the case, granted leave for the claimants to serve the Assembly through substituted means and adjourned the hearing to April 17, 2025. The Supreme Court, in a recent judgment, declared that Martin Amehule and 6 other lawmakers alleged to have defected from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressive Congress remain the legitimate members of the Assembly. Chizzy, what do you make of this story?
You see, each time people come by way of these, their write-ups, what the Supreme Court say, I don't know what they mean. They should go and look at what Supreme Court said in the summary about Martin Amehule and others. They said Martin Amehule, the 26th, and other, said all elected members of River State Assembly. But each time they tell you, they pause on this. Do you see why the governor said, I need to see the Supreme Court judgment? Because assuming they go there now and you see Okojumbo and others there, they will say, no, they are not members and all that stuff. But that's a story for another day. For them to go to court, you know, even in house rent, you must give, it's a question of must give 7 days notice. I think that's the least notice you can give to anybody on this planet Earth to appear or to do anything. You must give the least 7 days notice. The law says you must give 7 days notice. I said 7 days notice is the least notice you can give. No, yes, it's a matter of fact. If you can give, I'm coming. Is it the law? Yes, the law is that you give 7 days notice. Okay, just
in what situation?
In any situation, the least notice you can give to anybody must be 7 days. The least.
The law of the Federal Republic.
Yes, the least you can give. Now, the what is it called? The commission itself, the RISEC was given 48 hours ultimatum to appear. Not even that they have been invited before the ultimatum. You know what ultimatum means? Ultimatum means in default to this, we are now saying you must come. Now, there was no earlier notice. The only thing the RISEC members saw was ultimatum. My dear, there is truly a breach of trust in that regard. What are you going to do when an ultimatum was sent to you even without invitation? So I think them going to court is the best way to sort it out. And also don't rule out the fact that I said the reconciliation move by the governor is the best thing any normal person could do at this instance. The working relationship should be in a manner that everything will be tabled before you to see that truly we are working in harmony. So the governor's position is the best anybody can arrive at now. It is not whether you're a lawmaker, you're a commissioner, you are this, you are that. Where there is no good working relationship, it becomes so much an issue. This is River State, for Christ's sake. Presenting budget where there is no good working relationship, is it the best? Even though the governor presents the budget and it's being withheld there, does it make any meaning out of it? So the governor's approach will even settle all these things. If assuming the assembly, by way of making peace, go to the governor, and if you read the last paragraph of what the governor said, it was said that and other matters that will come forth. If the governor, by way of the governor, if the assembly, by way of making peace, the governor, this thing, look at what we are passing through. We just invited these people, they have refused to come, and instead they've gone to court. And they are at your mercy. Take decision on this matter. You think it will not yield positive effect? Right. It will. Okay. So what are we talking about?
All right. Very well. While you were speaking, I had to quickly check if 7 days notice, like you said, is constitutional. It is, if it is actually constitutional. And 7 days notice is not constitutional. It is not explicitly stated in Nigerian constitution, but it is a requirement under Nigerian tenancy laws, meaning the landlord must provide a 7 days ownership intention to cover possession notice to a tenant before taking legal action to evict them. Yes. So 7 days notice. I said,
if you understand me, I said here, if in tenancy law that you can give 7 days notice.
You later said
that I said it's constitutional that in tenancy law, which is the most common notice, that you give 7 days, which is the law. Then inviting an agency.
Other matters, it is not a law.
No, it is not a law. Good. It is not a law. But I'm coming. It is not a law, but it has always been referred to that you give reasonable notice. Right. And reasonable notice should not be less than 7 days.
One would say that reasonable notice
should not be less than 7 days.
Reasonable notice in this instance is subjective.
If subjective,
what you consider reasonable, another may consider unreasonable.
No, however, without notice, you gave ultimatum. Is that also the law?
All right. We will still come to that. But for want of time, Akumefule, you may have your say.
Yes, thank you for trying to correct my friend Chizu.
There was no correction.
Yes, because at the point you said 7 days is the least and all that. But thank God for our dear friend and sister who tried to correct that impression. Having said that, the governor, like I said before, should do everything to be sincere in this matter. Because if he is sincere, those illegally appointed commissioners, whether commissioners in this cabinet or commissioners in this, can never go to the court when they know they are in defiance of the law. They are in disobedience of the decisions of the court, and again in defiance of the law. The assembly has one of the responsibilities amongst all other responsibilities that have been saddled with them in law to screen and confirm commissioners, including the commissioners in research. So if these guys were not screened and confirmed by the assembly led by Martins and Mewle, and were brought in by few two friends led by Okojombo and the court have affirmed Martins as authentic assembly, it therefore means they never existed ab initio. And so if they had not existed ab initio, I had thought that if the governor was doing what was right and was ready to obey the decision of the Supreme Court to the letter, what he should have done was to announce the dissolution of these illegal commissioners who will still come to tell us how much they have expended from our money illegally. And then again, when you come to RISEC, thank God, two last week resigned. One has resigned this morning. 3 of the commissioners of RISEC has resigned their appointment, citing the decision of the Supreme Court that they cannot continue. They don't want to have problem. And now the chairman has run to court. Those things will not save them. There is no court, no judge that will tell them that what they did or they're doing is right. As far as the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, is concerned, no court will tell them that, yes, people can get a judgment because you have come to court. You cannot go to court and get an illegal judgment. No, in fact, no lawyer will go to get a judgment. So I want to beg of them to, rather than even waiting for when they will be arrested for whatever they are doing, to please announce they are not even appointed, so no need for resign itself.
Okay.
So they should quickly just go home and go and rest. They have no place. I'm concerned in this state. So there's nothing like they are running to court. Court will not save them.
All right, Honorable Kingsley, thank you so much for coming on the own conversation. Thank you so much, Barrister Chizi, for coming. It's a pleasure having you today.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, our viewers, for always staying connected to us. And this is where we wrap it up on this episode of Open Conversation. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials: Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network; Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1; and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Laurentia Ogu. Transition News comes up next. Do not go away.
Media Group presents the 2025 anniversary lecture of Atlantic Television Network and Wish 99.5 FM. Theme: Imperative of Private Media in Sustainable Development.
Keynote speaker, Professor Tony Iradia, erudite scholar and broadcast guru. Chairman, Professor Umadat, President, Society of Broadcast.